these game developers just don't seem to get it. You can probably already guess from the title what I'm talking about here, and the title is somewhat misleading because of course we already knew what the deal was, but the situation with Concord is so ridiculous and so eye-opening to people that didn't really understand it before, that we're now at the point where it's like, do these developers and these publishers and these companies want to go out of business? Is their aim to tank their gaming studios? Because judging from what I've seen with Concord, that must be their aim. They either they don't want to make money, or they are just stupid. Maybe it's both. Maybe that goes hand in hand, I guess. Now, I have been enjoying Black Myth Wukong, which I can confidently say with my, I think, 7 to 10 hours playing, that this is going to be a contender for Game of the Year. I don't know if it will win it, because I haven't played all the games that are contenders. I've heard Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is also a contender. I have that game. I have not been able to play it. Infinite Wealth, for me, the Yakuza game, will also be up there. But Black Myth Wukong, I'll confidently say this game is amazing. And clearly, it has sold 10 million copies. So people show up for good games, but people will not show up for garbage. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, one of the common talking points of this Concord garbage that they've released on PlayStation is that it's a hero shooter. And hero shooters are, in this day and age, free. They're free to play games. They've got some questionable monetization, you know, Overwatch, but they're free to play. And the barrier of entry, which is $40 or £50, is too much for people when there's free alternatives, which I think is a load of bullshit personally. I think if you put out amazing products with character designs where people are like, wow, that looks really, really cool, I think people will pay. I truly do. Every single time they put out a quality product, people have shown up for it, and they've paid for it, and they've praised it online. That's what we've seen with Black Myth Wukong. And I'm sure if you released, let's say, hypothetically, if you released a hero shooter, like the Marvel one, where you can use other powers and whatnot, but it was based on Chinese mythological characters, like we see in Black Myth, I think people would pay for that. I might even be inclined to be like, I might depart with some money to play that game. So I don't think the £40 or $40 price point is a complete barrier. I don't think it helps when there are free-to-play hero games or hero shooters, but I don't think that is the be-all and end-all of this situation. What I think the be-all and end-all of this situation is that you've created some of the most ugly and uninspired characters that I have ever seen in a video game. I don't know why I would want to go and turn on a console and play with the characters that are shown in Concord. They are just terrible. Anybody could have made better designs with this if you had just shown it to someone else. Whoever was creating these designs, whoever you are, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to sound harsh or anything, but you should not be allowed to create characters for a big time studio ever again. That is just absolutely some of the most diabolically shit designs I've ever seen in my life. But I'm going to read out some tweets here, because this game launched and it couldn't even break 700 players. At its peak, it couldn't break 700 players. That then dropped off to 500 players the following day, and then I believe it dropped to about 400 again after that, which for a game that Sony invested millions in is just, it's awful. Now you've got people online running damage control, and I don't know this for sure, guys. I don't know this for sure. But from what I can see on Twitter, there are a bunch of people that have been paid or incentivized to tweet out that this is an awesome game. I don't believe people that are on Twitter saying that they are having head over heels fun with this game. I just do not believe them. So I'm going to read out some of those tweets to you. Actually, do you know what? Let me rephrase it. I'm sure there's someone out there that's having a good time with this game. Clearly, from the numbers, it's not a lot. When I took a screenshot of this, the player count, it was on 149. So there's not a lot of people playing this game. The audience is not there. Anyway, let's read some of these tweets out. You got Old Man Logan here saying, I'm 7 hours into Concord. Hashtag Concord, by the way. Gotta let everyone know. And I'm absolutely loving it. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but now I'm sucked in. The hate for this solid multiplayer game, I don't know if that's meant to say something else, a hero shooter, is absolutely wild, and the worst part is the hate is coming from people that aren't even playing the game. Now it's true that I'm not playing the game, but a lot of my friends play hero shooters, a lot of them. And one thing that I know about hero shooters is that people are very drawn to character designs and picking certain characters. I am not even an Overwatch guy. I don't like Overwatch. but the characters in that game are very recognizable. You got Genji and his brother, Sombra, Soldier 76, Doomfist. What was that girl? Is it DVA or Diva or something like that? The characters in that, even though I don't know all of their names, Harambe, Winston, the gorilla. Even though I don't know all of their names, they're very recognizable character designs. At least when the game launched, it was very easy to recognize those characters. The characters in Concord, sorry, I said Discord, will only be remembered for how ugly and just, I don't want to look at them. When I look at the game and I see these characters, I'm like, turn it off. Put something else on. You got another tweet here from Maximum Spider 2099 saying, I'm 8 hours into #Concord and I'm absolutely in love with running around the map at full speed stabbing people with Baz. The gameplay is great. My only negative is that the only person I'm ever going to use is Baz. I don't like any of the other characters. Does this sound robotic to you? Almost like AI was told to put this together. I don't know, there's something off about it. And you have someone here, I think this is a bit of pushback. I'm starting to get genuinely upset about Concord's character designs. If this was a small indie game, I'd chalk it up to a disagreement of style. This is a huge game that spent a decade in the oven, and the end result is characters that look like this. What the fuck? And the character designs are some of the most laughable things I've ever seen in my life. And I just can't understand what is wrong with these game designers. It is so clear what has worked and what will always work. You put a character like Marcus Phoenix in a game, people are going to be drawn to him. He's a big dude. You put a Batista skin in there, I might even play it. We like very, very basic things that have always worked. Now the thing is that you can say, oh, times have changed, Michael, we're moving on from that, blah, blah, blah. But they really haven't, because every single time they do cater to the core gaming base, which is predominantly men. I hate to break it to people out there, it is just dudes that like playing games. There are more women playing now, but if you notice, a lot of the games that are catered towards men, girls end up playing them anyway. I've got female friends telling me, Mike, have you played Wukong? Yes, of course I've played Wukong. And you're playing it as well because the game was catered to try to adapt the Chinese fairy tale as faithfully as possible. Obviously they've taken liberties, they've changed things up. If you've played it already, you know what I'm talking about. But they didn't want to make it for anyone in particular. They just wanted to tell a good story. But it's very obvious what kinds of people overwhelmingly are going to play a game like that. But the game is still, it's like Yakuza, right? Yakuza is clearly made for dudes. I know so many women that love Yakuza. Now if they started making Yakuza for females, not only will the guys not play the game, the girls will also not play the game. They're not going to be interested in that game. There's a new game coming out, and it's like the new version of Sims. And it's this game called Inzoi. Now this Inzoi game looks like the Sims killer. And it is clearly, overwhelmingly going to be played by women. And it's not that it's catering to women, it's just the kind of game that it is. Women are going to play that game. You're not going to catch me playing it, although when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is actually very impressive. Not for me. I like shooting things, killing zombies, being the buff dude, messing things up, or playing as a monkey with a giant staff. I don't want to play a life simulator, but I can respect what they're doing. But it's clearly a girl's game. Guys will probably pick it up as well, because it's genuinely impressive from what I could see from it. My point is that these games, I don't know who these games are catered for. They're not catered for dudes and they're not catered for girls. I don't know who they're catered for because no one's playing the game. No one's playing this game. This game is dead on arrival. This is as dead on arrival as you can get. You've got all of these gaming journalists just running these campaigns for Sony, it would seem, where they're praising this game. They're saying, oh, this is a very fun game. You've got Naughty Dog here saying, calling all free gunners, congrats to Firewalk Studios on the release of Concord. Ben Studio, to celebrate the launch of Play Concord, the Ben devs are taking it to the galaxy and streaming it live now. Nobody's watching, mate. Insomniac Games were playing Concord, good for you. Sucker Punch, a massive congrats, we're playing. Do you think we're stupid or something? Seriously, we know you're not playing it. We know you're not. We know Sony or whoever has probably said to you, hey, shit's not good right now. Can you guys get it together? I think these are all first party studios as well for Sony. So you got Tom Warren here saying, even the worst game of 2023 had more Steam players on its release day than Concord. Concord had 697 all-time peak 23rd of August. Gollum, the Lord of the Rings game, had 758, which was, again, one of the worst games, if not the worst game of 2023. You've got Tominator here saying, I'm really liking the color palette of this game. #Concord is definitely really fun to play. Does that sound like a bot to you? Does that sound like someone was paid off? Why are they all hashtagging Concord? What is going on here? You've got the gamer here writing an article saying, let's give Concord a chance. No, it's gamers have told you what they want. You get some people, right, they comment this dumb shit and they'll say stuff like, oh, you know, all game sales are down. People are not making as much, so people are not buying as much. And yet when you see a game that is treated with a lot of love and a lot of respect and it's high quality and they've listened to gamers and they're not riddled with microtransactions, guess what? People turn up and buy them. Baldur's Gate, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring. All games of supremely high quality that respect the player's time and don't treat us like idiots. People show up and buy them. Do you really think that if you put in the amount of care and respect that those games had into a hero shoot, you don't think people will turn up and buy it? I think you guys know you're lying to yourselves. You got Dreamwalker here saying, Concord main theme is written by Sony's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Composer, say what you want about the game, but the soundtrack is fire, and that's what PlayStation did for the developer. Firewalk, 9% of audio design and music and tech support, same as Helldivers 2. Don't try to implicate Helldivers in this. It's not going to save this game. I don't care who did the music. Now granted, I don't play hero shooters anyway, but the reason I'm talking about this is that I always say, I'm right if I sign on and see 4 million people playing Black Myth Wukong, right? I'm right, but you are going to be right if we sign on a Black Myth Wukong, there's no one playing. No one bought it. The hype was, it was me and a couple people online who were talking or making noise. But the fact of the matter is that nobody's playing this dog shit game. And it has to be dog shit to be in a genre where a lot of people play these games. And nobody wants to play it. Not even the people that it seems to cater to. It's less than 700 on your release for a game that has been in the oven for this long, that you spent that much money on. When are you guys going to get the hint? How is Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, all of these games not hint enough that gamers know what they want and you're not giving it to them? Snapblast Play says, never forget PlayStation cancelled The Last of Us factions for Concord. That is diabolical work. You can say whatever you want about The Last of Us, and I've said a lot about it on this channel before as well. But the one thing about The Last of Us that I absolutely loved was its online multiplayer. The Last of Us Online, the first one, its online was so promising and it showed so much promise, and even what they gave us was so good, that for you to cancel that for this, you would think that if you're cancelling The Last of Us, one of your most successful titles, you've done it like 7 times, there's only 2 games, that whatever you're cancelling it for must be amazing. How did Concord get past testing? How did they see those character designs and think, yeah, this is what the modern audience wants? And you hear the word modern audience all the time. You always hear them saying modern audiences, updated for modern audiences. Guys, game devs, if you are listening, I am the audience. I was the audience in the 90s, I'm the audience now. The people that are playing games now also want the same shit as me. Do you know how I know? Nobody bought your fucking game. People don't want garbage like this. Do you want money? That is the question here. Do you want money? Then you have one of the Concord developers, right? And this guy comes across as a real pretentious piece of shit. And he talks about how he's so honored to have had this be his first AAA game. This is a AAA game. Mind you. And it was a huge learning experience. That's all well and good. That's all great. People were obviously saying to him, hey, you know, we're not really happy with the game. Instead of being an adult about it and just responding to them about their concerns of the game, he got all emotional and just started spamming, pay me $8 to unhide your reply. Are we employing people that are not mentally stable enough to go on Twitter, a public platform, the public town square, the modern day town square, and let people share their opinions? This is not a situation, a free runner M4443, where people are trolling you. Nobody's playing your game, and I know you probably spent a lot of time in there, but you obviously didn't listen to what people want. Now, are you making a game to make gamers happy? Are you making a game so you can get paid? Or are you making a game so you can sit in your room and stroke one out to it? Which one is it? Who are you making the game for? You got somebody posting here, I believe on Steam, saying people's jobs are at risk. People's jobs are at stake. Spelt steak like the food, mind you. I'm sorry, but if people's jobs are at stake, why don't you listen to what we want and then we'll pay for it? Do you really think if you made a hero shooter, again, I'm saying this again, do you really think if you made a hero shooter that people wanted, with character designs people wanted, they weren't going to pay for it? Listen to what the audience wants and they will pay for it. It's that simple. I get having a little trolling fun. I used to browse /B, I don't know what that is. Back in the day, I think it's some sort of Reddit forum. But you guys really need to lock in. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people whose lives depend on this game succeeding. Just food for thought before you go. And then someone said, well done or medium rare. the thing is, yeah, is that I don't want to see people on the streets. I don't want to see people out of jobs, but I'm not going to pay for your game, and I'm certainly not going to make videos praising your game if you just bring out a piece of garbage. Like, I've not played Baldur's Gate before, but I've sat and I've watched footage of this game. I've listened to my friends talk about it passionately. I understand that there's a lot of different paths you can take in the game. The character designs are very appealing. There's a lot of different character designs, there's a wide variety of character designs. Loads of roads the story could take down, so I can confidently sit here and say that maybe, I don't know if it's like a D&D style game, maybe it might not be for me, but I can appreciate and respect what they've put out. At the very least, I enjoy watching videos on it. When I'm watching other people play to see what they're going to do in their decisions, I enjoy watching it. When I'm in my group chats and my friends are talking about it, I'm actually very interested in the lore and what they're talking about. Somehow it always devolves into this character had sex with this character, but everyone seems happy, you know? I don't mind people dabbling in a bit of I don't know what the word is, debauchery, if it's going to make them happy. It's all well and good, but you need to make a game that makes that audience happy, and you guys didn't do that, so I'm sorry, but if your jobs are at stake, then they're at stake, you know? You didn't listen. I'm sure the developers over at Game Science in China, their jobs are not at stake. I'm sure they are rolling in it right now because they made a game that people are going to want to play. And clearly when you play Black Myth Wukong, you can see that they looked at other games. They looked at God of War. They looked at Devil May Cry. They looked at the Souls games. You can tell when you're playing the game that it's like it's pulled all of the best parts of those games and made a very, very satisfying experience. At least in my opinion, that's what it feels like. Noir says, why did Overwatch go viral at launch when Concord failed? Just take a look at the characters each game launched with. What do you notice? And it's true, the character designs in Overwatch when it launched, they were very appealing to look at. I liked looking at the character designs. I was never going to play the game, but I saw them and I was like, oh, they do look kind of cool, the character designs. I don't know where Overwatch is at now. I haven't heard good things. But when it launched, I was like, I kind of like what they're presenting. Crossraven says, I'm really impressed how in trying to make Concord a game for everyone, they've managed to make a game for hardly anybody. What did we say last time, guys? If you try to make a game for everyone, you'll make a game for no one. Make a game for the core audience. The core audience. And they will market the game for you. They'll go out and say, hey man, this game is the shit. You should come and play this game. But now, the reverse is happening. I'm going to let people know, don't support this garbage. I even played your game. But all my friends that play hero shooters have said, this is garbage. We're not going to touch this game. It's rubbish. They're not even interested in the gameplay mechanics. They looked at the character designs and they said, I don't want to use any of these characters. Why would anybody want to use these characters? Sura says, Concord has launched so badly that you can only see it on the indie porn game category on Steam. That is a feat. First of all, I didn't even know there was a porn category on Steam. That's interesting. Secondly, for a AAA game to fall into that is disgraceful. I'm pretty sure that those porn games are probably more fun than this garbage that they've put out. Learning the Law says millions of Gravity Rush fans have been waiting years, ready to pay full price for Gravity Rush and Gravity Rush 2 on Steam. And let's not forget Cat, the most wholesome and badass character every gamer will love. PlayStation California, here's your Concord slot. So I've never played Gravity Rush before. I've always heard very positive things about it. But again, there's so many games that Sony could focus on. Why did they do this? Paul Tassi says, I knew this wouldn't go well, but this is legitimately weird. Suicide Squad launched with 20 times as many players. Gene Park says, I'm actually wondering if there's something else going on. Paul Tassi says, the timing is weird too. Like it peaked early afternoon and didn't even add a couple hundred. Players after work and school in America. I don't get it. What don't you understand? What are you wrapping your head around? People don't like this rubbish. It's so obvious, dude. Look at the characters. They're disgusting. Paul Tassi again. Been 2 more hours and it still hasn't. I'm genuinely wondering if something is glitching. It's the 70th... Oh, glitching. Dude, are you being for real? 70th something most sold game on Steam, which isn't good, but like, you would have to imagine there'd be more than this. Honestly, dude, like, these are people that work in the industry. They work in the industry. Sony's live service hero shooter Concord has been in development for around 8 years. This game started development in 2016. How did you not read the room? How did you not look at what's going on and be like, we need to shift our character designs, you know, we I have an idea of what sells because we track the games that are doing well. And what do? You go in the complete opposite direction and appeal to a market that is very loud, but not really there. They're very, very loud, but they're not really there. Then you've got this individual, Jadorina. She kept on popping up on my feed. She really looks like she was running damage control for this game. I don't know who she is. It's the first time I've ever seen her, but all of her tweets read like someone put a hefty amount of money in her bank account or incentivized her in some way to tweet these things out. And she said, went on an absolute tear the last 2 days with Concord, having a blast with friends new and old. Playing this reminds me of the good old Halo and COD days. I don't know where you got that from. Just hanging out, joking around and dominating the competition. Thank you. You wouldn't have survived in the Halo or COD days, first of all. There's no way that you're playing this game and you're having the same experience of the old Halo and COD. That's bullshit. Kool-Aid Man says, I'm so glad I don't let others' feelings and opinions affect me. Everyone don't have thick skin like me. Yeah, imagine tweeting that out. You're having a fantastic time on the game and you tweet something out like that. I don't get it. I really don't understand these people. Of course it's affecting you. You're drinking your own Kool-Aid. These people are all lying to themselves, and if they're not lying to themselves, again, Sony has paid them off. There are just hundreds of these tweets. You know, I've got so many of them, and while I'm talking I'll put them up on the screen, because honestly, if I go through every single one of them, and I'm reading through them now, we're going to be here all day. Although there is one that I do want to quickly cover before I give my final thoughts on this. Someone said to the designer of the game, I'm so sorry this has to be your first. I do not believe it is you or any of the other devs' fault that this game has performed so poorly. I can tell that a lot of effort was put into completing this game. It just came at the wrong time and genre. And then the dev replies saying, I don't really care. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And then someone says, talentless freaks, I actually came to drop some positive criticism, but get fucked. Clearly based on the game, you're the one with no talent. Like, dude, you can't treat people like that. I'm actually, you know what, tell a lie. You can treat people like that if you want. It's completely up to you. But you must be able to see why people are criticizing this pile of shit. Do you know what else is funny? PlayStation made an official Concord controller. This must tell you that they really thought this was going to blow. They thought this was going to be the shit. They thought that this was going to be a game changer for them. You got old man Logan here again saying, I'm digging Concord. There's literally nothing people on this app can say to make me not enjoy my time with it. Anyways, back to the grind that goes. Stay miserable, folks. Dude, no one's miserable, everyone's laughing. If you're having a good time on the game, with the 100 people that are playing it, by all means, I'm sure you and the 100 other people playing it are going to have a fantastic time in your own small communities, but nobody's miserable here. This is a hilarious situation. And I do truly believe that the tide is turning, guys. I truly believe that. For a long time now, both in our TV shows, our movies, and our video games, we have been getting fed the message over and over and over again, and it seems like gamers at the very least are tired of it. They're checked the fuck out. If they release a game and they know Sweet Baby's attached to it, they know DEI was at the forefront of the game, or they look at the character designs and all of them are like fat and disgusting looking, they don't want to play it. They're out. And it's not even like they do it in an endearing way, because there's fat characters that people like. It's not that they're fat, it's the way these people do it. Because you look at Tekken and you look at Bob. Bob's a very popular character, people like him. So it's not that, it's the way that they do it. So it's again, we've spoken about this before, the uglification of characters. You're playing a hero shooter and none of the people in the game look like heroes to me. There's nothing special about these characters. They all look like people that I would bump into on the road, or that I would feel sorry for looking at on the internet. They don't look like heroes to me. And so with the success of Black Myth Wukong and the upcoming success of a lot of games that are coming out, we know Sparking Zero is on the way. Everybody is super hyped for this game. Space Marine 2 is almost here. That's probably going to sell very, very well. I know I'm going to pick it up. It's very, very clear now that these games that they're pushing out are going to die off and they're going to stop doing it. They're going to be forced to stop doing it. If you're one of these people that are making these games and you're watching this video, I'm telling you now, you are going to stop making these games, at the very least at a AAA level. If you want to make indie games and put them on Steam for 1 penny, because that is what this would be worth, by all means go ahead. But you're not going to be making these games in the next 3 to 5 years. If Sony want to stay in business, or if Microsoft want to stay in business, they're not going to allow this to happen. This is ridiculous. Who the hell are these games for? It's very easy to please gamers. You get a big dude, you tell him the fate of the planet is on the line, freedom is on the line, your wife is on the line. That concept will sell copies. You tell somebody, right, we've got a tournament, it's on a secluded island, There's martial artists there. Here's the game. I'm sold. You tell me I need you to liberate this place. There's aliens coming, Mike. I'm there. These games that are coming out today, it's just like, well, you're going to have to stop. You're going to have to stop. You've got no choice. If Sony invested millions into the game and this is what you produced, you are going to stop. At the end of the day, like I said, the wallet always wins. If these people went out and Concord sold 5, 6, 7 million copies, I'd be like, hey, there's a market there, guys. As much as we might not like it, as much as these games look stupid, there's a market there. But there isn't. Black Myth Wukong is the talk of the town, as it should be. It's an absolutely fantastic game. Shout outs to Game Science and all of the people that are trying to drag the conversation into political talk about China. I am not entertaining it, okay? We're talking about a game, and within that game we're talking about the Chinese mythology. I'm not talking about the politics, I'm not talking about the CCP, I'm not talking about the governments. We're just talking about the game. So you can stop trying to drag me into those stupid conversations. I'm not going to entertain them. Anyways, guys, I thought it was just funny to look at Concord. Like I said, there were so many tweets of people running damage control of this game. It's very clear that something else is going on behind the scenes. I don't know what exactly, but I don't go to Twitter and go, hey everyone, play hashtag Black Myth Wukong. Like, unless I'm being paid, and I'll tell you guys, there's a sponsor on the video. I got nothing else to say really. It's just a quick video on that. I hope you've all been okay, and regular uploads will resume, and then obviously we'll be back streaming. I just had to have a bit of time away because work was doing my nutting, but I'm back now, so I'll catch you guys very soon. Take care and peace.